What is going on, everybody? KingMark here and welcome back to the new video. So it's been like 1.5 years or maybe 2 since I bought my first wheel, and I think I learned a lot since then, so I decided to do a video where I will give you some tips if you just started using a wheel. And back then I didn't know some things that I wish I knew so that I can improve much faster. So basically when I bought my wheel, like the first week I thought that it was broken. I was even going to call the guy that I bought it from to return the wheel because I was thinking that something was really messed with the wheel. But after a week I started to realize that it was just me that was the problem. So first thing first, a good LUT will help you a lot. So basically if your game is Assetto Corsa, LUT Generator will help you a lot with the force feedback settings. Especially if you're using Logitech, which force feedback is really bad. And basically what a LUT is doing, so it's just calibrating your wheel based on your own wheel settings. So that is one thing to improve your wheel. You can follow the steps here. I will leave a link in the description to the LUT Generator. So yeah, this is for Assetto Corsa. Now let's go back in CarX because I want to talk about some tips that you can use in other game also. The first thing you want to do is just find a big spot where you can practice. Something like a parking lot will do the job. Don't use steering wheel assist. This is really bad. If you're new, you get used to with the steering wheel assist, and then it will be a lot harder to learn without wheel assist. This is my just personal opinion. So I will show you right now. I've never used steering wheel assist and now I will use it. Like, look at that. It feels very strange. I can't even turn. In real life this is bullshit. I mean, in which car you will turn like that? Just turn it off and never turn it on. Nice. So once you're good with the setting, use a car with a big angle. If you're in CarX, I will post this drift tune, which is my first drift tune ever. So I don't know if it's good. For me it's okay, I feel it alright, and if you want to use it, just go ahead. So big steering angle. Choose a car with a big steering angle because as a beginner you will have more control over your car. With big steering angle it means that you won't spin that easily, so you will have much control over your car. Now start with the small things, like doing a circle, something like that. Just give it a gas, release the clutch and do one circle. Once you get used to with the circles, you can try to do 8. It will be hard in the first time, I'm sure, but with some practice you will start getting used to. The next tip you want to do is don't fight with your wheel. When you do transition, you need to release the wheel and just let it do its own thing. Go one corner and then just release it and go straight. Just do a small correction so you can keep drifting. Releasing and just doing some small correction. Releasing and just doing some small correction. You will get used with that and you will see that it's not that hard to do. If you try, you know, like going like that and then going on the other side and just don't letting your wheel to do its own thing, you will spin out. The next thing you want to do with the transition is learn to release your wheel in the proper timing. If you're too soon, you will spin out. Bruh. If you're doing it too late, you will also spin out. And this is all based because you didn't release your wheel and you didn't let your wheel doing his own thing. If I'm trying to do transition and I'm stopping my wheel, I'm spinning out. So after you master these tips, you will be able to do something like that. The next tip is learn to drift without handbrake. Because when you start with a handbrake, you will get used to with using a handbrake and you will use handbrake in a situations where it's not necessary. Of course, with a handbrake it's a lot easier to do driftings and to extend corners. Basically, the handbrake is that for, to extend corners. So tip number 4, if you didn't learn the first steps, don't go in online sessions and don't try to do tandems, because you will only ruin the other guy's fun. Don't be the vibe killer. Learn to drift first alone and then go in the online sessions. The next tip I learned from practice is don't use anything lower than 900 degrees. For me the most realistic feel is between 900 degrees and 1080 degrees. Anything lower than that is just shit. The next tip is don't use a cheap wheel. Like these wheels that are only on 90 degrees are very bad. So I will tell you one situation. When I was young, my dad gave me his car and I was driving okay. I even parked very good. After that, I started using a 90-degree wheel for drifting in lighter speed. After like 1 or 2 months, my uncle gave me his car and I needed to do like, 90-degree corner, and I almost crashed because I was used with a 90-degree steering wheel and it was so bad. So don't use cheap wheels, use a proper wheel like Logitech or Trustmaster. If you have opportunity for Trustmaster, go for it. It's a lot better. It's a bang for buck, or even something more expensive. Now when you feel confident, you can join online sessions and start practice on tandeming. The most important thing in tandeming is a transition. You will need to get used to with the transitions, so you do a transition in the proper timing. If you're too soon, you will lose your line. If you do a transition too late, you will probably end up in a wall or something. Try starting with a more powerful car and a proper tune. Even that, you won't feel a lot of difference in the normal drifting setup and in the proper drift tune. I think for beginners, choosing a map with slow corners will be a lot easier. So try to find a map with slow corners so you can do practice more efficiently. It is really important that the leader knows what he is doing. If he is a smooth drifter, you will find out it's more easy to drift with. In tandems, it's a lot important braking, so the smooth braking is the key of doing nice tandems. The next tip is don't get demotivated, and remember that things will happen slowly and on little steps. Then after some times you won't put that much effort in drifting, and then you realize it is easy. So these are the main tips that we want to use, and just practice. If you enjoyed the video, please click that like button. Also subscribe to the channel with the bell, because that way you are helping me. And if you drop a comment, I really appreciate it. And yeah, that's it. See you next time.